Mhm. Oh, and then make Sarah co-host. So.
So that I can send requests.
Okay, you got it.
All right, tell me if that resolution's too high. Is it
Uh, no,
is it
that
really?
looks beautiful.
All right. So tonight we're going to cover setting up your apiary. Um, a little bit about me. I live in Charleston, West Virginia. I've been a beekeeper for the last 6 years. I started in 2020. I started with two hives. You can see my cute little munchkin in the top picture. That was right after we put our packages into our hives. And I currently have 14 if if all of my splits take um I started with Italian with a Cornelian Queen, and now I have West Virginia mutts and a lot of Russians. So we're going to be covering choosing the right location. So some key things about your site. You want to make sure you have sunlight, wind protection, a food source, a water source, good ground to put it on, and you're be aware of your foot traffic. Sunlight. You want to make sure that your hives receive about 6 to 8 hours of sunlight, um, especially in the morning. This helps the bees maintain their body temperature and encourages foraging. Facing your hives in a south to southeast direction will maximize your sunlight exposure during the day and help prevent small hive beetles. This is absolutely key for small hive beetles, but in my case, I just screwed myself and I still have them. Wind protection. So wind can wipe out big hives and small hives, especially if you have them stacked really, really high. We suggest using straps a lot of times to keep them down and putting bricks or rocks on top of your hives to keep the lids off on because wind will blow them off sometimes no matter what. But you also want to position your hives near some type of windbreak, whether it's trees or shrubs. And you also can do a man-made option. I know people who use bales of hay, wooden fences, or even pallets. I have a friend who made a fence kind of out of pallets. So anything that can just not get the wind right on them is preferable. Food source. So bees, if they really need to, will fly up to 6 miles to get to food. This also includes your garden, flowers, trees, and grasses around in the area. Water source. I didn't know this, and I actually read this in one of our books. It said that bees can drink up to a gallon of water a day in the summer per hive. I was like, holy cheeseness, I'm not putting that much out, so my bees are going elsewhere. Um, they need potentially a reliable water source within a quarter of a mile of the hive, and it's always good for you to put out a bird bath or a shallow dish filled with pebbles and filling up with water. I use a chicken feeder that I've glued glass rocks to the bottom to give them a space to stand on, and it allows it to go through. And I just fill it up a gallon at a time, but apparently I'm not doing enough. My bees also like to come to my pool. I've learned that unfortunately putting extra chlorine into the water discourages them from using my pool as a water source. I have learned that my pool floaty, if my chlorine gets down low, it becomes the absolute perfect way for my bees to get water. So then I put another puck of chlorine into my pool. Um, Good ground. This one's something that I learned over the winter. Beehives can weigh upwards of 100 pounds. A hive stand to keep them off the ground is a good rule to follow. Wet ground can lead to sinking. Um, Frozen ground can lead to sliding of your hives, which is what happened to me. Um, it's preferably to have a good level spot. You can use bricks or pavers to help level one side or another. Digging out spaces if you have unlevel ground and putting your pavers or whatever your hive stand in is good, but be careful because my husband thought that was a good thing for me and took our tractor and scooped out an area. And when I was working around my hives, my foot would fall into the hole, and I've landed on top of my hives before. So be careful about the way you want to put your hives on the ground, whether you dig some or not, or whether you use pavers to raise up one end. I say, don't learn the hard way like I did. Foot traffic. So about a distance of 20 feet around them is preferred to get to flying altitude. You want to not face your hives towards solid objects. That way they have some room to fly up and over. Um, don't face your hives towards places where people are going to come. Um, while looking at the area at Camp Virgil Tate, I looked around and I noticed that there's trails. I wanted to make sure that where I'm placing the hives is not going to be right where the trailhead comes out because I know they'll be walking right in front of my hives. So be cognizant of where you're placing your hives. Um, Mine are actually facing the opposite way of my driveway so that they try to go out that direction before coming up and over cars. Oops, too far. All right. So this is the picture that's in the fourth edition of our RB book. I have the notes of which books I used for all of my notes. It also, I've noted page items on one of the slides. But this is an example of a poor apiary site. You can see that the axis of the road is higher than full heavy supers. There's a little creek off to the side. It's saying that it's in the floodplain, that water could come up and your hives could be washed away. Um, it's saying that the hillside makes a funnel for air, and that's not indicative for having hives. So here's an example of a good site. So it's using the trees to stop the wind. It's up above the water on the hill, saying that the water can drain away. And the road is lower than your supers and easily accessible. So here's the things you got to remember. Like I said, sunlight. Give your bees lots of sunlight. The angle of your bee's entrance should be south or southeast. You need to create a wind barrier to shield your hives. Place your beehives near a good food source. Also, a water source. Aim for good ground. Use a hive stand and avoid foot traffic areas. So here's all my references. I have those scheduled to appear on our Facebook page at 8 o'clock. So everything that I just covered, you can go back and you can read. These are all the books that I used. I know in the classes we've talked about the Beekeeper's Handbook. I do have both copies, so I made sure that I put the locations of both. That way, if you want to reference those. Um, I love the Backyard Beekeeper. I got some notes from that, and I also have the FFA guide and beekeeping basics. So, like I said, those will be posted to our site here about 8 o'clock. So, if you want to reference them, or if I went too fast, which I know I did, because it's not a lot of information, it's just good key items to remember when you're choosing your hive site. So, last thing, do we have any questions?
All right. Very nice, Sarah. Thank you.
Welcome.
The only thing that I could figure, think about was your foot traffic. And this is from my experience. We were given a lot down the road here and never thought about it, didn't really look at it. It was just, nice and green and by the river. One, we got flooded out. That's a different situation, but we put it right in the middle of a deer path. It was not heavily done, traveled at the time that we moved there. The grass was lower and everything. And they tore our fence down 3 times. So got tangled up in it and everything. So then I started, tying little things on ribbons and, orange stuff so it blow in the wind. And so they finally figured it out. But, it's like can't teach an old dog new tricks. And that's exactly um, what was going on down there. So just know your land before you get your bees. Go and walk it, and you say, well, okay, one, I want it away from my house. Two, I don't want it too far, but you can use your vehicle, you can use a truck, you can build a shed beside them, whatever. Just a little lean-to to keep your equipment in there. But yeah, so there's a good bit of thought that goes into it. You can't just place them. And like Sarah said, with the ground, giving way over time, and that has had. Well, I've never had the ground shift on me, but I've had um, my yeah, what are the stands fall apart, shift forward. And, it happened last year. And a guy, I posted it as a memory or something. He's like, yeah, your fence is too close. I said, the fence had nothing to do with the picture that I was trying to show. So, yeah, like, they got to tell you something. So, but yeah, just, something. And know that if you don't like it, then you can always move them and you can wait and to do them. There's ways of doing it, even if they say, you need to make it go like 2 miles down the road. Yes, it is much better to do that, but it's time consuming and who has that much time? But if you do that, you only need to leave them until morning or 2 days, let them get out and yeah, and then go and pin them up the night before, the fall that night, let them be out all day and then pin them up that night, and then you can bring them back home to their new, so it's very doable, especially if you only have a couple that you can throw in your truck. So, does anybody have any questions about anything that Sarah just did for you? Okay. That means you did well, Sarah.
Ooh.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mm, yep.
Has everyone picked out their site for their hives?
I would say it's a no.
Not
I
yet.
Yes.
have, but now I'm questioning it.
You guys don't
You
have to
guys
mute
don't have to mute.
yourself unless you're, got a bunch of stuff in the background. This is just Q&A now, so presentation's over.
I have a toddler sitting here collaring, he gets loud.
Okay, okay.
Right.
Not a problem. Yeah, that's different. I
So
like,
we live in a 10-acre field, and the only windbreak we have is a little bit of trees right in the center of it. And I was gonna put my hives down there. There's a creek down there too, but I don't think they've got like 20 feet straight out in front of the hives once I face them southwest. Like there's a few trees that'll be in front of them. They'll probably be at least 10, maybe 15 feet away from the first tree. Do you think that'll be all right?
yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
it
Yeah,
should be.
yeah, yeah. And none of mine are have windbreaks, so you don't have to have a windbreak. It's just, but you need to have a ratchet strap on them or something so the wind doesn't blow off the lid.
Yeah, I'm
So,
gonna get the ratchet straps, but it gets so windy here that I'm afraid that even with the strap on it, even
hmm
if my hive weighed 100 pounds and like was completely full for winter, we get such strong winds that I think it might
yep,
possibly blow the whole hive over.
yeah, yeah. Well, if that's your concern, then I would keep them low, like on a 4x6 or whatever, and then do a chicken wire, or you can just wait and see if because I've had them here for umpteen years and never got bothered until I don't know the last 4 years, and then I had to and I've killed skunk, but they've just never been in my bees. Um, so you just never know, but if you pay attention, they're not going to kill it overnight. They will kill a hive. I lost five one year in an outyard that I didn't, see it coming. And within a week's time, because I went every 10 days, they had killed five of them. And there was all kinds of the way I know that because there was all kinds of little football bees chewed up and spit out and poop everywhere. So yeah,
We should be able to keep a good eye on it.
yeah.
My husband looked at it through the range finder, and like from our back door, it's almost 200 yards down there to where the hives will be.
hmm Well, just whenever you're out walking, and if you know, just put on a veil and walk around them. You don't have to gear up. They're not going to attack you unless you do have a mean hive.
No, I
And
feel a
then,
lot better after working
yeah,
yours.
yeah, 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 yeah. And, and that when, like I said, I always keep a pair of gloves. I didn't that day, but I usually put a pair of gloves. Well, this time of year, they're very docile unless they belong to Sarah, and Kathy. But normally, they're pretty docile right now and smaller, so you can work, with just a veil on. But yeah, it's just, just whatever you lack in, like me with a jacket and gloves, and I keep it handy. So because they will follow you and sting you until you get it on. So I definitely keep my gloves usually under my belt. And, I put it in the back of my belt. So, because it's some of them, especially once they get bigger, that's like, you're not bothering me today. And it's like, oh, yes, I am. So then I get into them. So, but, and, I can smoke the crap out of them, but I try not to. So, um, they do get more smoke than normal if they have that attitude. But, I'm not saying don't use your smoke because smoke can be your friend. It can be your lifesaver. You got anything to add, Debbie? Add your 2 cents? Oh, come on.
Nope, you got it covered.
Yeah. Debbie's is in her backyard. So, and she's got little
Mhm.
beagles and
Mhm.
9,
9 beagles or 9 hives.
9 beagles.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, you haven't had any trouble, have you, with yours?
Uh-uh.
Yeah. See, you just never know. I usually have at least one in every outyard that are wicked, and I have to take the time and re-queen them. So, and if you take that mean hive like that and you just throw a queen in there, they will kill that queen. even when they become hopelessly queenless. So you have to do it. It's better to do it with a queen cell, either from another hive, put a queen cell in there on a frame or whatever after they become hopelessly queenless. And I told you guys how to do that if you remember. It takes about 14 days for that to happen, but close to that. And then you put if you have eggs or a queen cell, you can put that in there. And so, but yeah, if you get in that situation, you just give us a holler and we'll do step by step um, how tos. Because and you would just go step one and then step two because you do it that way every time you requeen. So yeah. All right. I see it's
Your
going to be
belt,
very good class. Do what?
your belt that you use, is that a special like beekeeper's belt or just a tool belt?
Yeah, it's both. It's a cool belt and it came from Canada. And I have tried to find people, it was like, if you guys can make this, change it, just tweak it a little bit so it's not like his because he has a patent on it
Mm-hmm.
that, I said, I know I can sell them for you. And I can't get anybody to commit, any leather person to commit. So if you guys know anybody, I would buy one if it, is about where I spent what I spent on mine. I would buy one for my granddaughter. So yeah, we have her. I had a guy, and oh man, it was like pulling teeth to get that made. But it's just a strap with that goes through your belt goes through it, and then it has a magnet on it, just a circle. And she uses that, and I used that for a long time, and I gave it to her. But the belt is so nice because it holds so many tools, like my markers and stuff like that, scissors and tweezers, knives. Yeah. So if anybody knows a leather maker, send them my way. I won't even take money from, they can have 100%. I just want somebody to make one. Well, many. So I won't take a commission. So, oh, I am sorry. I drank coffee and it is not helping. I burnt some frankincense and it gave me a headache. So I had real frankincense. At least that's what they told me when they sold it to me. And I ground it up and put it in my melter. And yeah, I had to turn the fan on. It was awful. So I won't be doing that again. So I got some frankincense I'll sell you guys.
Strong too.
Only if you burn it. Doesn't even have a smell when I love frankincense. I wear it as a perfume, but yeah, this I think they just sold me some rock. So yep. But um so everybody knows how to put their nuke in, right? When you get them, put in 5 frames or 9, what, 6 4 frames, whatever, and then put yours, take it out. And you don't, the one that's empty, if you have one that's empty, you do not have to put that with, well, you guys will have all empty. So yeah, just put it right where it goes. Just take it out of the box and put it in order. And then feed them however you're going to feed them, and then check them. And you can close off the entrance and just give them a little hole to go through. I don't know if you guys have those wooden entrance reducers. You can use those and put them in there before you put your bees in, have it already set up. And then, yeah, you can sit back, do it during the day if you can. Well, if you get them like in the afternoon, then just bring them to your house and leave them sit. And if it's not cold, you can leave them bundled up. You don't have to open the door. And if you do, then you set it right beside the hive that they're going in, and then they'll go in and out, and then they will find their hive once you put the other ones in there. But when you do that, you need to kind of sit, just put your veil on and have, long sleeves, whatever, and take a lawn chair and sit by your bees, and you will hear them if they want to leave, which they shouldn't because they're a nuke. They should stay with their babies. And but oh, and then you can clog it up with grass real quick, and then they can't get out. So that's that. But when you guys are transferring your frames, sometimes nuke producers do them like 2 weeks before or 3 weeks before time to give them to just to let their queen hatch and come back and whatever. And sometimes they will want to swarm out of that nuke box. So when you guys know how to look for queen cells, so you want to do that. And if if you get a good box, then they should be pretty full on the frames. So you might have to blow in the corners and around to make sure that, there's no queen cells to be seen. And then in like 4 or 5 days, go back and find your queen if you can. And then you can shake, because if you have a queen cell, she will leave and she will take half of the bees with her. So you're just out of luck. And well, until you get a new queen, and you hope that a bird doesn't eat her before she gets, mated and back. So it's very important to know if you have, any queen cells on your frames that you get, your new frames that you get. So if that makes sense to you, and if it doesn't, let me know, because it's very important. Okay, makes sense then. So I don't want to hear anybody losing
By
bees.
losing bees.
So, but that's really about all you have to look for when you get started. And you have your feeders, and you can do I think it if you have two if you have two nukes, you can make this measurement, and it is and um what shoot. Uh Rebecca, this recipe came from Bill, but it is like 20 pound or 25 cups of water to 10 pounds of sugar. And that is a 1.25 ratio. And it's better than a 1-to-1 feed. So Bill and I talk a lot, so I'm still scrolling.
Awesome.
Yeah, wait till you see his tattoo. If it's cold, tell him to show it to you. I've never seen it in person, but it's just absolutely, he's got a whole sleeve, just beautiful. It kind of reminds me of yours. So
Nice.
you'll have to show him yours. Show him yours and he'll show you his.
All right.
Don't tell him I said that.
Okay.
Huge. Oh, and Bill uses those, yeah, it's 10 pounds of sugar to 20. Oh, now it's 20 cups of water. He told me 25. So, it is a it's a 1 to 1/3, but Bill or Bob Benny mixes it. It's a 1 to 1.25 mixture. So they broke it down for us all, and it's 10 pounds of sugar to 20 cups of water. And I put it in a big old pot. I put my water in first and then my sugar, and I stir it quick. Debbie, don't yawn. And I stir it, and I get it to where it's almost ready. You can hear it ready to start boiling, and then I turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't boil it. But those I don't know if you can see, but for small hive beetle, he's used that with the pollen in the middle, those little things
The
that I showed
cassette.
you guys. Yeah, I showed you guys Saturday, those pollen traps.
Mm-hmm.
So we can have him see how they do if he kills his hive. Or do you
I
use them,
put those in
Sarah?
my house.
Do you? Because that's what I was telling the ladies the other day, is like I'm always afraid when you put Do you put roach killer in it?
No, last year I made the beetle bait, the bloody beetle bait.
Okay.
And then I bought Cameron Reynolds had a video on it's a pollen patty with something in it,
To
and I'll
kill
have to
them?
look that one up. But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
use
post it
both
on
of them.
women's. Yeah. But you don't feel like they get in it and trail it through your beehive?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So there you go. You heard it from the pro. You if you have small hive beetles and don't freak out if you do. It's just, Sarah fights it. And, when I see one or two, I will not shut that hive until I kill the one or two. And they get in, they crawl in the cells, and then you wait. And that's what my tweezers are for. And sometimes, I have hard plastic. So sometimes I'll just go like this and then
Hmm.
grind them in there. And they'll fix the wax. So
Yep,
my
that's what
objective
I
is to
do.
kill that. Yeah, is to kill that hive beetle. And one year I had, well, not the ones I had in Buchanan, we were infested there. But one year here, they just fly in because I didn't buy, bees, I didn't buy nukes, they just fly in off of the air. And I had one that had 10 in it, and I about died. And I couldn't imagine working Sarah's. I would
Yep,
just, I
crazy.
would die. But in Buchanan, I would lift the lid and they would just be just like, I don't know, maybe 20 to 30. And so I told Rick, I was like, we got to move them out of here. I've never had them before until we moved them here. So, and then we moved them closer to Buchanan. This was like close, where the car lot is in Buchanan, between Buchanan and Weston. We went up that road. So, yeah. Yeah. What do you mean let light in?
It
Oh
lets
yeah,
like
they like
the
dark
entrance.
spaces. Yeah, that's what we were talking about, like the frame feeders.
Hmm.
Every time they're empty, you need to dump them out on a lid and then be ready to kill them because they love hanging out there in the damp and dark. Yep, for sure. Yep, yep. So, but 10
With
pounds of
10
sugar.
pounds of sugar.
Oh, sorry. And
I have a
20
question.
cups of milk. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you ever, sorry, I'm eating.
It's okay. It's okay.
Do you ever do like open frames where the bees can essentially just create the comb themselves
Absolutely.
entirely? And what's
Absolutely.
like the perk of
Only in the brood area because you don't want that up in the honey unless you're going to do combed honey, like I was showing you guys Saturday, or I was definitely showing Samantha because she was interested. But yeah, yeah, that's
doing
only if you do it in the supers, then it's for cut because you can't spin it out. It'll just fall out and go to the bottom of your spinner. But down in the bottom, yes, you can. Now, there's a there's a special way that you have to handle that because with my plastic, you can flip it anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. But if you have drawn comb, natural wax, then you have to do it sideways and then flip it around and look at it like this. You can't go like this because it'll fall out. Yeah, but you'll grow with that. But just remember, once it gets some brood on it and wax and or not wax, but honey and what is it? Pollen, yeah. Then it gets heavy. So when you lift it up here, now you can do it this way, and then you can turn it around and look this way, or you can turn it up this way and then turn it around and look that way. But you cannot just put it, like I think who was it? I think it was Becky or Rebecca that she grabbed the frame and she knew exactly how to use her fingers to,
Mhm.
tilt them forward. Well, in natural wax, you can't do that.
Okay.
So,
Is
so
there
Rebecca,
like a
don't do
perk
natural
to
wax.
that? I guess if you're trying to get wax out of it, like what would be the reason to do an open frame?
Oh, people say that bees don't like black plastic, but I've used it for 18 years and they do fine. And if they do get wonky, I just scrape it
Hmm.
off, and then that chunk of wax that's in my pocket all hot, then I cover it really heavy with that.
Hmm.
Okay.
So, and then they do fine. So, but oh, you, yeah, you will probably see arguments about, don't use that, use your natural. And well, but it is nicer to, like, if you, which that's what I'm doing this year. I'm taking a deep frame, and it's called the Miller method. Look it up. And you guys can do this too. But it's like Charlie Brown's shirt. You take a chunk of wax and you diagonal it three points on the bottom, and you put it right in the center of her brood area. And then you have a box up here. Okay, so it's kind of I don't know how to explain it to you, but you have your brood, your single brood, and then queen excluder, and then a super, and then another box up here. And so, you have to have a lot of bees in this hive to do this. And then when you do that, then you take that frame that she laid in and you take it out and you put it up above so they can't smell. These bees up here have brood and nothing else but that one frame of brood, and the rest of it's honey frames or whatever, pollen. You can put pollen up there. And then they think that they are queenless. So you're manipulating them, and they will lay they will make queen cells on those points in the on the wax. And then you take that out because it's wax, and you can cut them out and you can make little nukes with them. It's amazing. And I haven't done it yet, but I've done a lot of research on it, and I think that's the way to go for sure. So, and you guys can do that. Even all you have to do is put over. You don't even have to have honey. You can feed them. So all you have to do is have one frame of drawn comb, and then you can feed them honey and maybe two frames of bees, and you can raise that queen and you can sell her for $40, $45, or you can use her for, like, if one of your queens don't you know fumbles out or whatever, you can put her in there. And the best time to make a queen is after the solstice. It's June 21st. Those are your good queens, because they are they know genetically, they know that winter's on its way, and they will lay, and then they will go into winter and do well, and then come out robust, and then just like bam. So yeah, but that's the solstice queens. And the other ones are okay, but like the ones that are being bred now, a lot of rain comes in, this time of year, and so they may not get bred very well, and then they might be perfect. But if you do a queen and you stay small, then you should say on that lid, when whether a swarm left and the queen was bred, a new queen was bred, then write that, and so you can track when that queen was bred and made, if that makes sense to you. And just say, well, I'm a beginner, I can't do that. But that is simple. Like, if you had a mentor, you could do stuff like that. A good mentor. So yes, you can do that. And we are going to have a queen rearing class, on different ways to make queens, and that'll be in May something. Debbie and I need to put our heads together and pick up a date. Well, and then I got asked to go to take my mom and aunt somewhere. So we'll come up with some dates, and if you guys, well, maybe Sarah, we can do a couple of dates and do a poll and go from there. You think that's good, Deb? And
Yeah,
do
we can
that?
do that.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. I can't do it the 16th. That's my granddaughter's birthday. But other than that, I'm pretty free. It will be a Saturday. So Sarah, you can just make it the night, or no, let's make it the 23rd or the 30th. Oh, that's a holiday, right?
Yes, the 23rd is Memorial Day weekend.
Okay. So uh seems like I have something June 6th, but we could do the 30th or June 6th. See what you see, Debbie, on your in your life. So I mean, we could do it on a Sunday too, but um, you know, oh, well, it's Mother's Day, 17th. We could do the 17th or the 23rd or the 24th, something. Look at your calendar. And like I said, the only thing I have in May is the 16th that I know of. So we can do a Saturday or Sunday. You can put both of those dates up there. But yeah, sometimes people like coming up on a Saturday because their husband comes with and fishes or whatever. And then they make a day out of it instead of, because I can't do it until 1 o'clock on Sunday because of church. So, but I can do it early on a Saturday. We can make an all day thing. So, yep.
Do you ever do like class or chats or anything about like the processing of the honey, of the pollen, nectar, all the things, propolis, all the things that come out of it? Do you ever do any chats with that?
I think
I
so.
think
I think
so. I
we
think
were talking
we were
about doing
talking about.
more classes, like on Saturday, and we have some videos to show, and there's some of them are like an hour long, and so we've done that before and say, bring your popcorn and but Emily Mueller, and I'll post it on our women's page, but I just saw her post that she is getting ready to do municipal from the hive, and that's exactly what you're talking about. Not spinning out honey, but how to use honey, how to use propolis and stuff like that. And I don't know what day it is, but I don't think she's released the registration yet, but I'll post it on women's as soon as I figure out when it is. But we went to her propolis and she does an excellent job on that. So, um, yeah, and she'll probably do that at the retreat and talk about that. And she's learning how to do mm, what's it called? When you get apotherapy. Yeah,
How
and
did you hear me when I didn't have my mute on? You said it when I said
I read your lips. So
it.
when you
Okay.
go deaf, you learn how to read lips a little bit. Um, but yeah, so I think, we're gonna see if she'll do 2 talks, and she might be through school by that time in July, and then she will be certified, and she can, give us some helpful hints. And she's already talking about it. If you guys don't follow her, she's really good. It's Mueller Honeybees Company, right? Is that what she's on our page. I've posted her.
Mueller
uh,
honeybees.
Yeah, Mueller Honeybees. And her first name is Emily, and she lives in Akron, Ohio, and on a farm. And she was talking the other day, and a big turkey gobbled. So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So she's really funny. She's a hoot to be around.
She just had the healing from the hive on April 7th. There's no other post for the next one that I saw that she was talking about.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, I thought it was a recent post that I clicked into, so maybe it's already happened and I've missed it. Hmm. Yeah, she'll get more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the next one is swarm prevention and hive splitting, and that's April 24th.
Okay. Well, we could always have her, on a one subject come and do, a Zoom with us on Tuesdays. So, we have that option as well. If it, had a lot of
April
people that would be
23rd, it says propolis meant for the bees.
propolis what?
Medicine of the bees.
Okay, well, that's the one that Debbie and I went to, and it's really good. I think it cost us like $5. So it was well worth $5 and more. I got a lot out of it. So, and she's the one who does a lot of the oral healing with propolis. So, well, it's 8 o'clock, and it doesn't look like anybody else is coming in for bee chat, so we can wrap it up. Or if you guys, we can definitely sit here and talk bees for sure. If you have something, oh, there's Beth. There's Beth. Well, class is over. Oh, there's Barb. Oh, Barb got a new car. You guys saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she got a new ride.
yeah, she did. Yeah, had it for 19 years, her old one. So, yep. But yeah, maybe Barb might have some bee related. Well, I do know I was waiting for Kathy. Hey, Barb, how's that new ride? Smell like new car?
It's
She's
nice.
frozen. Do what?
It's
Nice, nice. All right, chicken lady. It was good seeing you, Felicia. Thanks a lot. And remember, next week it starts at 8. So, and bring your questions or just sit in and learn from all of us crazy bee ladies. You're more than welcome. Bring a friend if it's a girl. Tell your husband
Tell
that
your
he can
husband that he
back. So, yeah, but what was I saying? Oh, Kathy, she euthanized a hive this last week. It was attacking her. Got her dog, just tore up her husband, so she doused it with. Did she
No.
talk to you about it, Barb? The how-tos? No? Yeah. Yeah. I told her, I said, well, if you're gonna, I said, I wouldn't do it, but I said, Emily has a procedure how she breaks it all down and lets it sit for a week or whatever, or 3 days, and then she goes back and goes through them and finds the queen and then kills them and or kills her and then makes it hopelessly queenless another week and then puts them back together and gives them a frame of eggs. And then that way she didn't kill all those bees. So, but she didn't want to fool with it because, well, again, I think hers are close to her house, so she was getting attacked. So, and just to know that if you have a garden, they do not have to be beside your garden to pollinate your garden. Um, they will travel. Like uh, Sarah said today, they'll go up to 6 miles. So thank you, Lauren. Nice to meet you as well, and look forward to seeing everyone's progress. Absolutely, that's a good post. So come back come back whether you have bees or not. So we do some pretty good heavy talk sometimes, especially once everybody gets into bee season. So, yep. And make sure you talk to Michelle because I know she'll take you under her wing. And you'll
I
learn a lot.
definitely will. I'll send her a message. But
Yeah,
thanks, everybody.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. And remember, tell her you got a Jeep.
I will.
She's a she's a Jeep lady. Or don't tell her and show up, and she'll go. So, yeah.
We're Jeep people. Yep. I will definitely
Yeah.
drive it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep.
I have a diesel. So I was like, yeah, I'm driving the Jeep.
There you go. There you go.
Mm.
And I think she has a big American flag on the back of hers flying, didn't she, when she came up to the retreat? She had something, I'm pretty sure it was an American flag.
I think
So,
so.
yeah. Yeah, it was
Got
pretty
a
cool.
snorkel.
The snorkel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
her
think
Jeep's
it
got a
comes out
snorkel
from the engine to get air intake when you go underwater.
because she goes through the creek in her
Ah.
driveway.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm anxious to see where that is. If there's more than one area that crosses a
Yeah.
creek to get to their house, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I'm sure in that area because my aunt always lived there at Three Churches and right outside of Romney. And she had a swinging bridge, walking bridge, and then she could only go if the water was nice. So I think it's very, very normal in the
Very common
Romney
in this
area.
area. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
Gotta keep getting rebuilt.
yeah, yeah. How much longer you have till it, because you guys took it
Probably,
out once, right?
probably 2 years.
Okay.
It took
Yeah.
him 8 to rebuild his.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, just think what you'll have when it's done.
Yeah,
You'll
I'm
have
just
a
waiting.
you'll have a relic. It'll be antique by the time it gets it done.
It is. Well, his is an 84.
Oh
Mine's
wow. Okay.
2004.
Cool. Very cool. That's awesome. So, Barb, do you have anything? Because we were getting ready to pop off here. Do you have any bee stuff you want to talk about?
Uh,
Yours doing okay?
yeah, yeah, I got out and checked on them and inspected them this morning and um, found a couple warm cups, nothing in them,
Yeah.
and they're doing good. And then two more. I'm getting two nukes
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Cool.
this week. So
Mm-hmm. Very good. Very good. Well, good luck with them. Yep.
Amanda, how did your little class go?
It went good, I think. They said it did.
She did a little mini class at the Girl Scouts.
Oh, perfect. That's the best way to do it is to teach it. Or to learn it is to teach it. Good night,
Yeah.
Mary. All right. How many students did you have?
I think there were about 18.
Oh gosh, that's good.
Yeah, they were
Very
really
good.
good. Um, they were really behaved. One little
Uh-huh.
girl said it was really interesting.
Aw,
So
good.
Ava helped me. I was glad to have
Uh-huh.
her help. So
Yeah.
Aw.
Did they like to find the Queen book?
yeah, and they found it right away.
Did they?
Yeah.
Cool.
They were,
Good
yeah,
eyes, good eyes. They can see the
yeah.
Queen
difference.
spotting book. I had a Queen spotting book I give her.
Very cool. Yeah. Yeah. I said Saturday I had one and told them that I had one previous that I looked for a long time, and then it would have been a good video on Where's the Queen because she looks so much like her babies, and then finally I found her. But Mimi said to you, Sarah, she says she feels a little more empowered to choose a hive site now. Thank you so much. So good deal. Good deal. All right. Well, that's
I will
awesome.
just say thank you for the in-person last weekend. It
Oh, you're
changed my
welcome.
whole feelings about everything.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
it
been
makes a
excited, but
difference.
I was very nervous, and now I feel like I have some semblance of a clue.
Nice,
That's
yeah.
good.
And that's what it's all about for sure, is you know, to get in with a mentor, and then when you get yours, you can, yeah, this is what they said, we can do. And just remember that first frame, you need to pull away and then lift it up really slow and then pull the other one. Just keep pulling them away. And we saw they pulled them away and then they pushed it back. I was like, no, you got to pull it away. So, you don't want any bees on either side to touch anything because, even though you're trying not to kill the queen, but you can kill those bees too because they take very little punishment and then they die. So it doesn't take much to kill a bee.
The hands-on really made a big difference, and I really appreciated your time and patience with
Yeah,
us.
good, good. That's what it's all about. And it's just getting your face in it and listening to the sounds because I've had people at Yeah, well, my cousin, he came from Florida to, go through the bees with me because he thought he wanted to be a beekeeper. He said, I can't handle listening to the buzz and he was suited from head to toe. I said, they're not going to hurt you. And it's like, he said, I can't handle it. And when he's out in the yard, if something landed on him, he was like, and, you work your way through that if you really want to be a beekeeper, but it's a process. Um, and now, I don't like hearing a roar because that's huge, there's a problem if they are, and I don't want to hear that, but just their quiet, normal beehive and the smells of it, it's just heaven to me. When I pop that lid, it's like, yeah, I'm in the zone. And that's why I like to work bees by myself. And because I talk to them or I talk in my head and it's like, okay, this is what we're going to, there's propolis. Oh, no, okay, I'm supposed to be doing, no, there's some more propolis, so I'm like, squirrel. So when I see propolis, but yeah, yeah. So and you can get at them right now, you can get at them, I don't know, every 7 days or whatever. Don't make it any more than that unless there's a problem. And if you're going to feed them, then that's not getting in them. That's just lifting the lid and fixing the food and giving them food. Once you start feeding them, especially a nuke, you need to continue to feed them. And if you have, don't go out and buy pollen patties. You don't have to do that. But if you do have one, like from your club or whatever, then just put a smidge, just a little strip, and see if they'll attack it right then and there if they want it. Um, you'll you'll notice that they all go around it and stuff like that. But leave it in there, and you can tilt the lid and check and see if they're eating it. If not, take it out and throw it back in your freezer. So they don't have to have it. It's just like a little treat. So see you, Caitlin. Keep us
Good night.
updated.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Take care. Take care. So,
Something
all right.
tells me I got here late.
You did. Yeah. It starts at 7. Yeah. It
I'm
starts at
sorry.
7. No, it's
Okay.
okay.
I'm going to
It
bounce
is
off.
it is recorded, so I'll I
Where,
think I'll post this one to the page because I don't want to do yeah,
to the
do it
to the
all. Send
beekeepers
it in
page?
email.
To the
To
women's
what?
beekeepers
Yeah.
page?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll
great.
I'll do that. It'll
All right,
download after we get off of here and then I can post it. And then
great.
Sarah's going to post a few things that go along with it. So,
Yeah, they
well,
should have posted at 8.
okay. Oh yeah, you told you told the computer to post it at 8. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm not there yet. It always says, "Do you want to set a time?" It's like, no, I can't do that. No, and it's probably just hit yes, and then it would do it. Um, so Bridget, do you have any bee stuff? We were getting ready to pop off. No, you're in the dark. No,
Oh,
okay.
sorry, I just walked in the door. I was like
No,
grabbing
that's
my
fine.
computer real
That's fine.
fast.
Yeah,
No, I
no, we're good. Doing good then. Yeah.
I did
All right.
everything you guys told me to do last week, so I'll
Yeah.
just wait
Good.
and see what
Good.
happens.
Good deal. Good deal. How about you, Amy? You got any 2 cents to add to our brains?
He was busy today when I saw her.
You doing splits or what?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure can.
Hi, everyone.
So
Yes,
what was
very,
you doing
very,
today?
very busy day. Lots of splits, lots of queen rearing. Uh, they're booming. This yard was booming today. So it was a nice temperatures. It was actually just fantastic. No complaints. Then I helped the
Wonderful.
gentleman where I keep my bees at. I paid my rent today and helped him some of his, and he should have been in his about 3 weeks ago. So I think I
Oh,
counted 32 swarm cells in one hive.
Oh, mercy.
I caught the
Oh,
swarm 3 days ago in a tree for him. And because I said to him, if you don't go through these, remember, those are the first two to swarm every year. No, they don't. I was getting ready to leave and I pulled around. I'm like, there's a swarm in your tree. So we caught that. And I'm like, you know where that came from?
yeah.
No, I don't think so. Well, 3-day-old larvae, no eggs. I mean,
Yeah.
and I think that one at 27. Thank you.
Wow.
20. And unfortunately, those boxes, I don't think have been opened yet. So a
Oh,
lot of them were destroyed, couldn't be used for splits because they were between boxes,
yep. Yep.
you
Hmm.
know. But
That's not beekeeping, ladies. That's
no,
just having
that's
hives and letting them do their thing. That is not good.
no.
So
So that took
don't,
that took
yeah.
So I'm going
SF.
to ask a question of Amy. What do you do with all the queen cells? Because this is a normal thing for me with Russians.
Well, I would say your eye doesn't look too bad, Sarah.
No, it's not horrible.
It's a little fat, but yeah.
I was expecting worse. Still
It
beautiful as
was
ever.
worse this morning, guarantee you. I've been
Oh,
icing and
I'm so
Benadryl
sorry.
all day.
I'm so sorry. You're still beautiful as ever.
Thank you.
If more of them would have been viable, because like I said, and ripping them or not rip, but just taking the boxes apart, they were all on the bottom, obviously.
Right.
A lot of got ripped, but out of those two, I made 7 splits, and
Oh,
I
wow.
split because he had a deep and a medium, 8 frame deep, 8 frame medium as brood. So I split them down to very thin just because he had so much. They were honey
Yeah.
bound, they were backfilling, and there was 12 frames of brood on one and maybe 7 on another.
Mm,
So I just did, to answer your question, Sarah, I did 2 frames of brood. I made sure there was only 2 queen cells on one split.
right.
There was
Mhm.
plenty of honey. Now, in all transparency, I did a lot of the queen cells that were in good shape were the medium. So I did stick a medium in a deep box, and we'll deal with that later. And I marked it.
Sure.
Pull
Yeah.
that back
I
out later.
100% did exactly that.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, okay, how much did I move over? Did I get enough? So
Yeah, I
make me
kind
feel real
of
good about what I did too.
exactly. I checkerboarded some of the
Mhm.
supers and just tried to thin it out across the wealth across them all. But I kind of follow this little rule of, and I'm sure Phyllis and Dad told me this years ago, but I've never forgotten. You never separate 2 frames of brood. You can separate 2 and then, draw and comb or foundation, but they have to go by 2s, so
Okay.
I did, I had, kind of divvied those up, but I just really thinned them out to buy him some time because there are 16 other hives on this property that need to be gone through. And if they're anything like that, maybe the cold weather the last day saved the one from hitting the trees because, I'm sure like everybody else, we had really cold temps, but it wasn't too hot today. So it was a good day and I had energy. So
Good. Good.
I hope that answers your question.
Yep.
Yeah, it did. Yep. Good. Now I've seen a guy, and that's what I was talking about earlier, is you can do a one frame split that they're doing it now. But Amy makes a good point to do it that way is to take 2 over so the bees can cover everything. But if it's hot and stuff, and you feed them and it's on home, and you have to take enough bees over, shake them in or whatever. But there's a guy, David Burns, I think is his name, in Georgia, that does a 2 nuke rearing queen. And he's got his little nukes are like this, and the size of a deep. And he uses those, and that's where I saw he puts a piece of foundation and then the frame that the queen cell is on, and that's how he does it. But he lives in Georgia, so it has to be warm so they can, keep the hive warm. but
So the
your
splits that
best.
I did yesterday, I did like Amy. The
Uh-huh.
splits I did, I think a week ago, because it was off my grafted queen from last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I stole bees from the Russians because I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah.
you're gonna explode anyway.
Yeah.
I
Oh
took
yeah.
nurse bees and larvae and put it in there with them, and I'm waiting for my queens to hatch. But I knew I couldn't move one frame, but I
Mm-hmm.
had
Mm-hmm.
the three center frames on my mediums right above my deep had queen cells on the bottom. I'm like, well, I like this queen. So if
Right.
I have
Oh
more of
yeah.
her, but I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to steal from that hive because it's only a
Right.
second year. It's the queens that I grafted from last year. And I was
Right.
like, I can't steal even though they're making queens.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
can't steal what? You shakes the bees?
These, yeah.
Sure you
It was
She
can.
doesn't
only a deep and a medium. And
she
I
doesn't want
just
to
put the
thin
medium
it
on.
out. She doesn't want to thin that hive out, so
Oh,
took Russian like nurse bees from another hive to give it
gotcha.
enough to yeah. And that's great. That's and you can if you have like a big hive, because it's early yet that has, like the 12 frames of brood like that guy had, and you can definitely take and split that up, and you won't hurt that hive that much. You're not going to take all 12. You can take one or two and you wouldn't hurt that big hive at all. So, well, I don't know. She's not in there laying now, right? Because she swarmed, but still, you can use the some of the resources in that to do your
Right.
splits with. It's just knowing what's in your out yard is what it is. What you can, because I will, I'll probably give them 2 more weeks and then I'll probably equalize everything to, pretty much the same. Now, if it's a dink, then, I won't give it too much resources. I'll, see if it's going to be any good on its own. And, but everybody else, because you might have because of course I do all bottom or deeps now and single brood. So I'll go in and if this one's a single brood and full in the super, then I might take a brood from it and and add it to one that's just barely in the super, and then they'll have all those bees. So, and I make sure that the queen is viable too. I don't just give resources just because it's smaller. You look at your queen, and if she is in there and she's laying a beautiful pattern and she looks good, then yeah, help her out a little bit. But if she, dinky around and she's real long and skinny, and that doesn't always mean anything, but just look how she's laying her pattern. And if she's doing a bad job, then pinch her and, let them go back in 7 days and, kill them all down to two because you're not going to have a big hive to do many splits off of. So just requeen that one and, let them start all over. So, but it takes about 21 days, just to know that it takes 21 days to get her bred and everything. So, or more. What is it, Debbie? 28, 20. Well, Bethany and I, we one year ours was 32, 33 days before she
Yeah.
laid.
Yeah.
So just know that nothing's going to be being born or laid in that hive. But if she's a bad queen, you're not out anything. That new queen, if she makes it back and bred well, they'll grow really fast and they'll be ready for fall harvest. So,
Hey, Amy, your Demeray had the orientation going on today.
Oh, good. I gotta get back in that. I should have had you open that up and check the top box. I got a couple more days to the weekend to check that top box, but good.
Yeah, it was really active.
That's what I'd like to
2
hear.
days ago. We always thought it was like, oh, they just hatched and came out, but they're 21 days old. So they say to do their uh, orientation flight.
Orientation, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Um,
And the one that was three down, like probably on the second pallet on the other end, it was doing orientation too.
All right, good to know. Thanks for the update. I appreciate it.
hmm I've got to go Thursday and look at, I people would call it a dimmery, but they were down in the bottom box that I had on there just to keep the wind off of them. The bigger hives moved down there and made it a home. So then I put them in a rearranged the single brood and then put my excluder and then I put a medium super on there and then I put their brood on top. So that is a dimmery to an extent. Um, a lot of times dimmeries are used for swarming. So you do a whole new bottom board, a whole new box, and then you move the frames or just one frame and then the rest is comb or foundation and that's a true dimmery and then that all the extra resources go very like above two supers and then you have to go back you have to use it as a queen producer or you have to go back and kill the queen cells and then the brood will hatch and you take out the pollen and put frames in it and then it becomes a honey super. So it's a pretty good method. I had, I don't know, I think about nine or so. I had more than that last year because I did almost every one of them down in that yard, and there's 26 down there, so close
So what do
to
you think's easier, single
18.
brood or Demarest?
Do what? I'm sorry.
I said, what do you think's easier, single brood or Demarest?
Single brood is definitely because Demarest you have to go back
Go
and look
back.
for queen cells. Yeah,
I think you'll
but
get just
and
as much honey.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I just do that to one, get them in a single deep, and then, because like I know how to do it now. I go through winter with just a single deep, and then they come out of winter in a single deep, and then I don't have to do that. Then all I have to do after that step is go in and pull out, the honey and pollen frames and then move that up to the top and then give her places of lay and you're done,
You're
and
done.
then you
And
can,
that's so
yeah.
easy.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely love this method. I wish I knew about it 15 years ago. So, yeah, for sure. And like I told him Saturday at the workshop, it was like the nice thing about this is that I've removed anything on top, just set it and you can feel if it's heavy or not. And that's all you have to know is if it's heavy, they're up in there, you see them. And then my queen is on one of the 10 frames down there and you're done. That's what's so sweet about it. You don't have to look through, 20 frames or whatever. So,
You may find it, this is just what I do, just food for thought, Phyllis, because I've been doing that for
mhm.
like 5 years now. Is you may want to under super.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I watched I don't know if you've seen some of the posts that it's the way back when, like the old beekeeper, I think is what it's called. And they did a great demonstration and I thought I posted it on the under super because of the honey sealing.
Exactly.
And, we've always talked about that, but they really did a great demonstration on why you under super. And yep, yep. I'm glad you said that. So,
Yeah.
because this is being recorded and yeah,
And
so
then the
it'll,
other thing, just this is just how I do it. Do it whatever you want. But when you're, for those who are doing single brood, food for thought, this has worked out really well for me. Is if I pull that queen, you can put her on a double brood box above your single. So you could do, I said double brood, I meant double screen board. It's been a long day. So, you're
Mhm.
this a deep on the bottom. And if you're making a split, you can pull her out and put her right above
right.
on a double screen board going the other direction. And if your queen on the bottom does not come back mated, you can easily pull that out because
Yep.
you haven't lost any foragers. There's no fighting. They'll accept her, no problem. Or if you're top girl, your original queen starts, running out of eggs, same thing. If they start running her down or, they supersede her, you can pull that out. And it's so harmonious if you're not really introducing a queen. It's the original girls. The whole
Mm-hmm.
posse was the same girls, in the beginning anyhow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I do it. I will put a super and then a double screen board and a deep box and then a super.
Yeah, that makes sense. A super over the original
Exactly.
hive, and then put a double screen board on top of the super faced backwards, and then your queen split.
Yep.
Well, you could do that for your nuke cells too, and
Right.
leave them like that until that queen comes back mated, and then you can sell that nuke.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Then you've lost nothing. And if it's, if you lose a queen, then you have got double the voltage of eggs that were laid and pull it out and
Yeah.
run honey.
Yep.
Kind of win-win.
Yeah, I think I'll do that this year. Thank you. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. See, we've been in it for a long time and we're still learning from each other. So yeah,
Yep.
love it. Love it. Hmm. All right. You have any more tips than anybody? You guys are awful quiet today. Debbie, you look like you're about ready to fall asleep.
It's been a long day.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a headache. That frankincense made me like, so, but I had an MRI today too, and they put crap in my veins. So now I need a detox. So, but anyway, um, all right, I'm done. Everybody done? I greatly appreciate you guys showing up for sure. So, all right, there, Papa. Have one eye, Sarah. Oh, it's funny after the fact, but when you're going through it, it's not very funny.
Well, it's better than most of my reactions, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
So I didn't get the fire or anything like that or the redness, so
Well,
doing
that's
really
good.
good.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I posted that one that got me in the lip. It got under my thing and it was like large Simpson.
Yep.
And I put ice on it and everything. So and then I had to do a beach chat that night. So of course, I had to be on Zoom with everybody. And that's when Sue made me Marge. So
That's good stuff.
yep. So all right, ladies. Well, I appreciate your time and effort. And now next Tuesday it'll be 8 o'clock. Be
Yeah, you
there
might
or
want to post that.
yeah, I will. Yeah, not a problem. Yeah. And if you need the link, it's in the feature tab with a blue tractor that I cannot get started, but it started that day. So, but all righty. Enjoy your car there, Barb. Be safe. It's a beautiful, did well.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Enjoy. So,
All
all
right. Good
right.
night, everyone. Have a great day.
Night.
Aha.
Thank you all.
You too. Happy bees, guys.